Well, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, or good evening, or whenever you're watching this video. My name is Chris Gibbons. I'm going to be your instructor for this course, Essentials of Personal Finance for the Healthcare Professional, this spring 2020. In this video, what I'd like to do is kind of go over some of the basics of the course, how you're going to be successful with the course, how it's kind of laid out. And to do that, we're going to look at some of the high points of the syllabus. So what I'd like you to do is take a moment and print out the syllabus. It's a great resource to have, kind of the roadmap of the course. So it's always a good idea to have a physical copy of this. You can fold it over and keep it in your book. So if you don't have it, please pause the video right now, print that out, and then come back. All right, well, hopefully you've got this now all printed out for yourself and you're ready to go through, and we're going to talk about some of the highlights of the syllabus. All right, well, let's move my picture off to the side here and let's take a look at the syllabus. First thing is, many of you are probably very familiar with Mercy College, and our syllabi all sort of follow the same template. My contact information is here above. As an online course, I'm available for appointment online for office hours by appointment, so don't hesitate to reach out to me that way, and we can arrange something. A lot of questions are usually handled through email, and we'll talk about contacting me in just a few moments. So. But yes, I do have office hours by appointment. This course is 1 credit hour. So remember that as I'm talking about the content of this course and the time frame to which we have to do it. It is only a 1 credit hour course, so it should not be too difficult. But with that being said, it's also an 8-week course. So it's going to be compressed. So it's really going to feel like a 2 credit hour course, if that means anything to you, as far as the amount of work as it's compressed in comparison to a 16-week course. So it will feel a little bit more substantial than when I run this course over 16 weeks and you're only doing a little bit of work every week. There's going to be a little bit more work every week. Again, the benefit of that is you'll be done with this course in 8 weeks. All right, so there's that. Add drop dates, which are pretty standard, and of course no one's going to drop this course because it's absolutely fantastic and you guys are going to love it. So, but if you need to drop, please be mindful of those important dates there for dropping the course and whatnot. And when the course ends. Again, we'll be ending at the end of the first 8 weeks, which will be March 8th. Okay, and our institutional learning goals and outcomes, we'll skip through that and go to the course objectives. This is the meat of the course. This is what we're going to be doing here today in this course. 1, you're going to learn how to budget, preparing that personal budget. If you've never thought about that, we're going to explore that a little bit more. You're going to be able to explain basic investment vehicles and retirement options, 401ks, stocks, mutual funds. You're going to understand what those are. You're going to be able to describe loan fundamentals and credit fundamentals. So when you're sitting down and you're buying a car or buying a home, or anything used through any kind of lending agreement, you're going to understand those important aspects of that contract. And you're also going to understand credit fundamentals. What's credit score? How do I improve my credit score? Why is credit score even important? We're going to learn about that. You're going to be able to learn to plan for major events, including, college education, whether it's for yourself or your children down the road, career planning, and home ownership. Those are some of the three biggies in there that most folks will do. But planning for these major events usually has a financial component, and we're going to learn about that as we go through the course. You're going to be able to explain the value and use of professional and personal insurance. Insurance is very important. Though you pay for it, you may never use it, but if you need it, it's a lifesaver. So we're going to talk about the value of insurance. And then we're going to illustrate the importance of having a cohesive financial plan. Why should you have all the pieces working together? What pieces should you have? How do you prioritize those pieces? We're going to learn about that in this course. The most important thing that I'd like you to know is that, a lot of financial stuff seems to be a mystery for people. I was a financial advisor for many, many years. I was a Series 7 stockbroker, which means I could buy, sell stocks, options, basically anything traded I could sell at one point. My career then took a different direction. I decided to reinvent myself and went into a healthcare route. You can read my bio later. But when I would sit with a client, In many cases, their plans are relatively simple. It wasn't rocket science. It was something that most folks could do on their own with a little bit of homework and staying a little bit in tune with things. You can do this on your own. So I would encourage you to think about that. You could always pay a financial advisor like myself at one time, and they paid me quite a bit to do that. But I always would say, you know, I would always try to empower my clients to be able to do this on their own as well. So there's a role for financial advisors for very high net worth individuals where things can get pretty complicated. But for the rest of us regular folks, you guys can do this. And in this course, you're going to learn how to do that. All right, so let's go. Let's talk about some of the grades and assignments and how that's going to work. Excuse me. All right, so grading. We're going to have some simple cluster of projects in this course of assignments. You're going to have discussions. We're going to have 6 of those kind of sprinkled throughout the course. You're going to have quizzes, and I'll show you the layout in just a moment. But the quizzes are not very difficult at all. Everything's open book, open note. You're going to be doing this thing called a concept map or a concept paper as you go through the modules. Not too terribly difficult. Progress journal. We're going to do that a couple times throughout the course where you're going to basically just kind of touch base. We're going to force us to touch base through the course and see how you're doing. And then at the end, you're going to do what I call a personal finance declaration. You're going to summarize your thoughts, not mine, your thoughts on personal finance, what you want to do, how you want to prioritize things, the plan and direction that you want to take. Now you're going to get some guidance and some ideas as you go through the course, but this is definitely your roadmap, not mine. So make sure you think about that as we're going through the course. But again, even that's not too terribly difficult. I will provide you a template for the personal finance declaration as we get closer to that. All right, so that's kind of the layout for the course. You can see the breakdown of assignments here. A lot of the meat of the course is wrapped up in these quizzes, which are generally pretty short, about 5 to 10 questions, just checking your reading comprehension from the readings or any presentations that we have in that particular part, and we'll talk about the parts as you go along. So I'd rather have a bunch of little quizzes than a bunch of bigger quizzes. So you have a bunch of littler quizzes all the way through, making up almost half of the grade. Another big chunk are these concept maps and concept papers, which is hopefully kind of fun for you to do and kind of brings home the learning in your own way, how you want to learn, what you want to prioritize out of the information that we have. And we're going to have those as well. That's where the bulk of the points is. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the course real quickly here. You can kind of get a flow of how this thing works. So as you see here, we have module 1, and within each module, you usually have 2 parts, okay? Trying to break things up a little bit. They call it chunking. We want to chunk this stuff so it's not so overwhelming. So, and again, this course isn't meant to be overwhelming. It's, 1 credit hour. So, but with that, I do like breaking things in a little more digestible pieces. That's the way I like it, and I find from student feedback they like that as well. All right, so we have module 1. You got part 1. You'll do some readings and presentations. In there'll be usually there's videos, maybe some videos from me, maybe some supplemental videos, and then there'll be a reading from the books. Now we have a couple of, you have 1 book, and that's the index card book. Super easy read. Some students can read that within like 4 or 5 hours, knock the whole thing out, be done with it. Now you don't necessarily want to do that because you're going to be talking about the information of that particular book through over the next 8 weeks. And to recall it, if you read it all today, is not going to be, great. But I've had students who've actually read it a couple times as they've gone through the course. They've really liked the book. It's not your typical textbook. It's really written. It's not a textbook. It's a kind of a consumer information book, but I really like it because it just takes all this complexity and summarizes it. And the author who originally wrote that summarized everything on an index card. Everything you need to know about finance on 1 index card. How cool. Before I even saw that book, I had the theory that everything you needed to know could be on 1 piece of paper front and back. An 8.5 by 11 piece of paper front and back. He took it even further in an index card, which I really like. Okay, so we've got that piece there with the index card book. and you're going to have those readings as you go through there. You may also have some supplemental readings as we go, some additional stuff. No textbook for you to buy, but look for the PDFs in there. And then there'll be video presentations. The quizzes can be any questions from any one of those sources. Usually I'll pull a few questions from the videos, mostly from the reading. Okay, but you got to get all of it in. If you want to get that kind of that 10 out of 10 on the quiz, you want to review all the material in the readings and presentations. Okay, so each part has a quiz to go with it to kind of check your knowledge, check your comprehension. Did you read it? Did you do it? Most students get hundreds on all of these quizzes, as long as you read the chapter, read whatever readings are in there, and watch the videos. And that's pretty much it. That's the layout of the course. You'll do readings, presentations, take a quiz. Readings, presentations, take a quiz. Now and then we'll have a little discussion in there. All pretty informal, no APA, no citations. Really kind of like, hey, what do you do about insurance? Or what are your thoughts about credit cards? What are your thoughts about life insurance? And you'll kind of discuss that. And then you'll reply back to a couple of your peers. So that's pretty easy, but students really like that because they're able to dialogue with each other about what they've read in that particular part. And then occasionally, well, not occasionally, but at the end of every module, you're going to be doing a concept map, or not this week, but next week, so don't hold me to it. This week, I want you all to do a concept map. After this week, you'll have your choice between a concept map or a concept paper. And concept maps, you'll see some information. I got plenty of information on what these things are. Some students really love them. They go crazy. They love making them, and they're kind of like mind maps, if you've heard of that. But concept maps, obviously, you're building out concepts rather than these random thoughts that you try to connect. And they love the creativity of that. And making those connections, how best works for themselves, not for me. How you memorize things or how you like to conceptualize stuff is completely different than how I like to conceptualize stuff. That's what the concept maps do. But after this module, you'll be able to do your own, some students like to do traditional papers. So, which surprised me. They said, can we do a paper instead? And I said, sure, you can do a paper. So I had about half do the paper and half do the concept map. But for this week, I want all of you to do the concept map. But of course, you'll see that as you're going through the module. All right, and that's pretty much the flow of each one of these weeks. So again, they are kind of busy because this is going to feel like a 2 credit hour course. Again, because we're doing what? We're doing 1 credit hour squeezed into 8. So there is some stuff in there that could, if you don't stay on top of it, it could get away from you. So make sure you stay on top of it. If you do that, you should be absolutely fine and golden in the course. Now, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. If there's anything that happens that you have any concerns, maybe you're in the emergency room with maybe you have a sick child, or some unplanned event happens, and you need an extension on a due date or whatever, just let me know. More than happy to work with you. Hey, my goal for this class is that to meet the learning objectives of the course, and we can have a little bit of flexibility as we go through the course to meet those learning objectives, and I'm all for that. Not about rigid, but we do have to meet these requirements as we go through. How we meet them, that can be kind of the dialogue that we'll have. So again, if you need anything from me, don't hesitate to reach out. You do have, my contact information. Email is probably the best way to get a hold of me. Later on this week, I'm going to be switching our home page out here, which you'll notice when you log into the course. And then I'll provide you with my cell phone number if you have to text me about anything. I really like texting because usually I can get back to you within minutes, sometimes hours, depending on when you text or what I got going on that particular moment. But it is the quickest way for these short, quick answers. Hey, Chris, what's going on with this? usually I can get back to you really quick on that. Or, hey, I'm in the ER with a sick kid and, can I have an extra day on this assignment? Yeah, no problem. Thanks for checking in with me. So I like text messaging, but again, if you don't want to, that's fine. We do have email as well. That works really good too. All right. So that's how to get a hold of me. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. Hope you like this course. Hope you get some value out of it. I think, we've run this for a few years now, and students really do like it. It's, many of you in high school have had financial literacy courses now at this point. Back in the day, we never had anything like that, but now financial literacy is pretty much done in the K through 12. But it's good to revisit financial literacy as an adult. It's always good to revisit fundamentals. It's like practicing, basketball. I mean, professional athletes, professional basketball players still practice dribbling skills. So practicing these fundamentals is good. So even if you introduced this material maybe in high school with a financial literacy course, it's good to revisit that now as an adult. And many of you are on the cusp of your careers. You are getting ready to be making a very good income. And that's when rubber hits the road. You're really starting to make some money now, and you're planning your life, you're doing things, and now what are we going to do with that? Some of you are already, maybe mid-career and are still trying to, figure it out. Again, it's good. It's always good to revisit the fundamentals. I do it all the time as well. So hopefully you'll have some value out of this course. All right, everybody, again, welcome to the course, and everybody have a fantastic week. Thanks.